is what you do, right? Okay. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Let's start there.
Yeah, I want to talk about setting up. Well, I was cleaning the depot out
Yeah.
because it was a goddamn mess,
Yeah.
and I saw the motorcycle. Which is it in the screen or no?
Yeah, there's a little bit, I think, in the screen. Just this, just the back section, and then if we do another one, we
Okay.
can turn it around and do just the middle, and then we can do just the front.
I was cleaning. I was like, man, I haven't started the bike in a while, so I decided. So I opened the door
Okay.
just so I didn't get like blasted with
Yeah.
CO2, and I started it up, and I was like sitting in my office chair, right to my right, and all of a sudden, like after 5 minutes,
Yeah.
my vision in my head like starts going blurry.
It did.
And it just felt like a really good head high.
Yeah.
And I was just writing some stuff down on a piece of paper, and
You were high off that brain damage, and you were writing down some of your ideas.
that's exactly what happened. I like as soon as it happened, I was like, oh God, I think I'm gonna die. But I was like, I can sympathize with the people trying to like kill themselves, because it was like a super, super good high.
So you think that most of the people who kill themselves with their car are doing it because they like it, not because they wanted to die? Is that what you're? Is
Well,
that
I'm saying it.
first-
if
first
I,
claim
no,
ever?
No. If I were to kill myself, now that I know what it
Yeah.
feels like to go by CO2,
Yeah. You think you would choose that?
I would 100% choose that. I would just turn the motorcycle on and close the door.
Yeah. I think I would do the motorcycle as well, but I would just ride it as fast as I could into some sort of wall or barrier.
The problem is that you sometimes wouldn't go. Like there's been those instances where like you crash on a motorcycle, you freaking fly into a tree, and you don't die.
Yeah. But then you live, right? Which is not that bad.
You live, yeah.
Well, 'cause okay, here's my thing, right? If I ever was going to do that, what I would do is something. I would have basically a project of like how I was gonna either design some machine or figure out some process for ending the rest of my time here, and I would make sure the project would be like enjoyable and fun. And by the time I got done, either devising a strategy or developing some sort of machine or or device
Yeah.
to take my life, I would have had so much fun that by the end of it, I would just a new lease on life. Basically,
Would it be like a guillotine style machine,
Yeah, but I don't like the slicing.
or would
of
it be
the
like
head off.
a new age like rail gun laser beam?
I think I would want it to be like an incredible amount of force to take me out, so that that way nobody can say like it didn't take a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be something like so simple and then that takes me out. Like
Yeah.
it only took like one cinder block. That's super lame.
Yeah, it would be like.
So I want it to be like at least like I want heavy machinery involved in building the device.
Yeah, like an anvil with spikes that weighs like 32 million pounds.
Yeah, and it like hits you so hard it vaporizes you. So then people be like, well, obviously that took him out.
No, I get that. Yeah, if I were to build the perfect machine for my demise, it would be something glorious.
Yeah.
It'd be something where I'd probably pop. It would probably be like I'd swallow a balloon, something like that.
Yeah, and blow it up while it's in there.
Yeah, blow it. It was super fast though.
So what if you did instead? What if you launched yourself into space?
That would be pretty good, but there's some time before you die. If I want to go, and I want to go immediately.
But imagine you launch yourself into space.
Or the carbon dioxide, because it feels super good.
What if you launch yourself into space and you have a suit that's going to last you 24 hours? So you have 24 hours just like hurtling through space, and on repeat in your helmet is Rocket Man by Elton John.
That's pretty good. I would probably do Freebird, though. That would get me more amped up to die.
Yeah.
Rather than Rocket Man's kind of
That would be
like
so
slow dance.
amazing. Like, not obviously you're about to die, but you're just staring at like you're probably spinning, and since there's no like air, you can't prevent yourself from spinning.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be getting dizzy necessarily, I don't think, because you can't feel like gravity.
The problem, realistically, I think if you were to do that with the spacesuit, it would be like all you could think about is in 24 hours what's going to happen, which would be your death.
Yeah.
Which that would be the problem. It's like when I put on music while I'm running,
Yeah.
and
There's something that there's a logistical problem that we hadn't thought about.
yeah, we didn't think about this.
That's all right. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's being picked up at all.
She'll probably come into frame pretty soon.
That's
so
all
you'll be able
right.
to see what it is.
Yeah. Okay. For now, just
ignore it.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. But anyway, I feel like while I'm running, I put on music.
Yeah.
But after a certain amount of time, I don't think about or hear the music.
Yeah.
It's just like a part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you put on an Elton John Rocket Man in space.
Yeah.
And you tune it out. And all of a sudden you're only thinking about death. Which is fine.
Yeah. Would you rather be thinking about death while you were dying or thinking about life? Because I think if you know you're going to die, you're thinking about death. But if you don't, you're thinking about life. Like, I'd rather die doing something fun that I was enjoying myself and then it was just over. And then have, like, even being old and sitting on your deathbed has got to be such a gnarly experience. She wants to, we should mic her right up.
We should mic her up or should I take her out?
No, probably take her out.
She's probably good. She's actually the first podcast guest.
She actually is. But she won't stop yelling. Oh my goodness.
Very good.
Yeah, she's all right.
Very
She's got
good.
two different color eyes.
Yeah, she does. That actually just happened recently, and I didn't know that could happen in cats. Like, and it happens in dogs too, where something will just switch.
I got her.
That's a cat right there.
Yeah. Here. Nobody. Oh, she's gonna do some
Yeah, she's
ninja
gonna claw
work.
you
Here,
up.
just sit down. Why don't you sit? Sit and stop.
She won't. The problem is when you start petting her, she won't stop making noise.
She likes being pet, but what she's
Yeah.
purring would probably be fine.
Well, that's just part of the depot experience.
It
It's
is.
the wildlife.
The wildlife that is able to stroll in and out at its own discretion.
And this cat used to be feral.
Yeah,
That's
she
the
really
thing is-
likes that butt scratch like
Yeah, she
that.
does.
Okay, sit
Yeah,
down.
she does.
Lay
Sit
down. Lay down.
Yeah, she's gonna come
She-
back as soon as you stop. She's gonna come back.
The shape that she's
Very good.
Okay, well, besides the cat that's going on currently.
Anyway, and yeah, we're done with the death talk.
The death talk is good, yeah, but I think it's kind of interesting because we started on death, and that's usually where you end.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
But okay, another thing that I was gonna kind of bring up is I was thinking about maintenance today, so to really shift it around,
Mm-hmm.
maintenance on anything or just like doing your own work, I guess. I'm trying to make it more broad than just maintenance.
Well, yeah.
I'm trying to say, like, I guess my main thought is that people are afraid to do stuff that they feel like they're not qualified to do. And that is true in absolutely everything. And it's an easy example to say maintenance on a motorcycle or on a
Mhm.
car, because it would be so beneficial if everyone knew how to do their own maintenance, to everybody except the people who run the mechanic shops.
I
would be-
totally agree.
It would be so beneficial, and it's not that hard. There's going to be, like, you're going to break something, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to whatever, but it's not that bad, and it's only, like, the first time you try it, and then it's better. I've broken stuff trying to fix it.
Yeah,
but it's so
have the
useful.
shops you take your stuff to.
But then I thought, yeah, true, they'll ruin your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a 16-year-old who doesn't know what he's doing, and the guy who runs
Exactly.
the shop is trying to save
We're trying
money.
to get Jiffy Lube out of business.
Yeah, but my point is that's the same for actually everything.
Maintenance,
No, not maintenance. I'm saying that same thought process is the same for, like, people who want to create something or people who want to learn something. Like, you think, oh, I'm not qualified, so I'm not even going to try that.
Yeah.
That's like most people. They just think they go through high school because they have to, and then a lot of people go to college because they're sold it, and then you feel like you have a certain amount of qualifications that you've been bestowed by the educational system, and you are afraid to move out of that at all. But if everybody was just never afraid, imagine if a world where no one was afraid to just try what they were interested in. How
Yeah.
different and creative the world would be.
And right now we do.
Yeah.
With like internet, you can literally look up anything.
Yeah.
Like
you
with-
can learn anything.
Like with I've recently been doing like some woodworking stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, literally all I have to do is go to YouTube or go online and be like, how to make this.
And before, like, you'd have to do networking and find somebody who was a master craftsman to,
Yeah.
and then you'd have to convince them that you were worth their time.
Yeah, exactly.
Or have some kind of family member teach
or
it,
go to school.
or go to school for it. Yeah, but now you can teach yourself almost anything. And there's some things where if you teach yourself, you might not be as like proficient at it. Like I know I saw a meme about programmers and how if you hire a programmer that taught themselves, you have to keep them on for the rest of the time they're using that product that they programmed because they didn't do it in the normal way at all. So they will be the only person who can do maintenance to that software. And that's the same for like some stuff, but it's also very easy to go get like an accredited programming course that's not college. That's just like a course that teaches you how to do it. Like, but I just thought that was funny. But you can have like there's so many skills you can learn that people are still afraid to do it. That's because it's so easy now. Like your point is it's so easy, but how come everyone's still not doing it?
Because they're not told to do it.
But they want. I mean, I don't really like have a great personal example, but
yeah,
someone who wants to do something but he's never told to do it.
I have a pretty good personal example.
Okay.
Of my friend. Do you know him, Jonathan?
Probably not.
He's an example that I use a lot for people that don't want to go to school but still want to like learn on their own.
Yeah.
And given he had an inn, I think one of his family members started a software company.
Yeah.
And when he got out of high school, he didn't go straight to college. He went straight to the internet to teach himself how to use Java.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's making 120, 130 grand a year in looking at jobs at Amazon, Google, Apple as a software engineer, self-trained. It's like you can do almost any, like he did it. I don't know if he did it exactly for free, but I know you can learn Java for free. Or learn any of those coding programs.
Well, you're sold this thing, right, where if you don't go to college, then you have to. You can still make money. I think they tell you like you can still make money, but it's gonna be really hard. You're gonna have to do all this extra stuff. People want to take the easiest route to be successful. They want there to be some path to success that you can achieve this great feat of success with some defined path. They want to say, okay, I want to be a very successful person, so I'm gonna go do this. But I don't think that's how it works at all. I think success, and you listen to people talk about their success stories, some of the most successful people in the world, they got there through the most just like abnormal path. A lot of them started
it's
in
always
like a
wacky.
broken family, and then they got upset about something at some point in their life. Some people reached crazy amounts of success late in their life.
Yeah.
Like there's just this desire to be able to be successful following some path that's given to you. But I almost don't even consider that success necessarily if you're not entertained and fulfilled by what you're doing. Like it doesn't seem to me very successful.
Yeah, I think success definitely is like an overused term. And I think when you hear about anyone that's successful, they're always like, I get my success from failing.
Yeah.
And that's like, I keep hearing it over and over and over. It's like, all you have to do is fail, fail, fail in the right way, of course.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you can't just like quit. But it's more of like a
So there's a famous quote from, I want to say it's Thomas Edison, when he was supposedly inventing the light bulb, which at that who knows if he did or not. There's all the controversy of whether he did or not, but let's say he did, and let's say this quote is real because it's meaningful. When he made the filament for the light bulb out of tungsten, and that's what we use mostly in our bulbs in our house and stuff. And he had tried, like, it was either hundreds or thousands of different elements to work as the filament, and everything failed. It would either burn up or it wouldn't get bright. And then somebody was like, oh, it's like, you failed 1,000 times. And he was like, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I learned 1,000 things that don't work as filaments.
yeah.
And it's like the perspective there is what you need. Because, like, you're saying you need to fail a bunch of times, and other people are telling that too. But I'm sure in their mind they don't take it as, you can't take it as failure as in defeat. Failure has to be an experience that doesn't affect, like, your
It's just a
drive
a
or
lesson.
passion going forward.
Yeah.
Some people get completely defeated, and then some people have a crippling fear of failure, but they don't even, when it happens, it's not usually that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like I fear failure,
I fear failure a lot.
but every time I meet failure, and I mean it's different every time, but I always get past it.
Yeah, and it's usually not that bad when it's actually there.
Yeah.
When you're actually facing failure, it's usually just you're a little mad, you're a little embarrassed, or you're whatever. Like, most of the time, failure in life isn't devastatingly
Yeah,
damaging
and
to
when
your
you
life.
when you stop and like think after the fact, when you when you meet that failure, you stop and think logically. You can always make it out on the other side, even if you run into another failure after that failure.
Yeah.
Which has happened many times to me.
Yeah. Well, it kind of ties in. I guess we hit success and then failure, and those are like kind of opposites. But there's just such a thought. Everybody puts so much thought into, like, what am I going to do? Like, what is the first thing you ask a kid when you see it? How old is it? Or
When you see it?
I don't know if it's a boy or a girl kid. It's just kid in my mind. So when you see the kid, you walk up to
How old is it?
You walk up to the child. How old are you? And they usually
5.
Yeah, and then sometimes they answer right, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they put up a couple fingers at you.
They do, yeah. They
And then
like
you
the
ask,
fingers.
what is your name? Or maybe that's your first question, regardless, it doesn't matter. And then for some reason you ask it what it wants to be when it grows up.
Yeah.
That's like
And
always
it's
the
always
third
one
question.
of 5. It's one of 5 every time.
But why are we
I want to
like,
be a policeman.
But why are we teaching these kids that, like, I think that's damaging to instill in kids from the time that they're can't even barely say how old they are, that they have to be a thing, or they have to do a thing. They have to choose what they want to do, and they can't fail on that thing they chose, and they can't change their mind. And it's like weird.
Yeah.
The what do you want to be when you grow up is like kind of a weird thing to ask a kid, because then you're getting them thinking about it, and then they're thinking, they're like, what do I want to be?
And they destroy
and then,
themselves.
Yeah, I know people who decided they wanted to be something, and then they just did that
Yeah.
because they didn't ever change their mind or didn't ever really think about it, and everybody told them, like, they go to their guidance counselor at school, and they're like, I want to be a doctor. No, not a doctor's a bad example, because I think that's kind of a
Can you imagine me at one point? I said I want to be a doctor.
yeah. I
Like
wanted
not
to,
that long ago too.
I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was little. I do not anymore.
No,
at all.
no, I don't either at all. I was going through my like journal from when I was
Yeah.
13 today.
Yeah.
I had some of the craziest stuff. It was like every other month I wanted to be something different. I'm like, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
I'll see you. Like, I would always write. I was like, I'll see you in 2 years. I'll be a private investigator when I get out.
I think, yeah. I remember when
Game on. I'm
yeah.
I'm going to the NFL.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Well, what's crazy
Period.
is, like, I think that's what happened to me when I got out of college. It was like the moment of truth where, like, you work so long when you're a kid, and then when you're signing up for college, and then when you're in college, you're working so long towards what you wanted to be when you grew up. And and you decided, like, oh, I'm going to be this. For me, I went to engineering school. So, and then there was the point where I was going to be an engineer. I was going to go get a job in engineering. And I didn't want to be, it's not that, like, I think it'd be cool to be an engineer.
Yeah.
And I think that I still keep that in my back pocket. But I don't want to get stuck just being that thing because that's the thing that I was sold. And I do feel that. I feel like I was sold that.
Yeah.
I didn't choose that because I had some outstanding passion for it, which I do have a great interest in engineering, but it's just, I don't have that, like, I want to be one so bad it hurts.
Yeah. Wait, I don't think many people who go into engineering want to be an engineer so bad.
There's really good money in it, especially software engineering. There's such good money in it that it's such and once you start making $120,000 a year and you are 22, you're in it.
Yeah, you're
That's
in it.
it. That's the end.
That's the end.
You're
and then
in that.
You're in space.
Yeah.
Floating around a rocket man. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. That is the space. And you're hearing the same song every day, and that's just the same. You getting up and going to that job every single day, doing the same exact thing every single day. And maybe you like it. And some people love it, and to them, like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
There are some people who love software engineering so much they can't stand it. It hurts. They want to be one so bad. And that's the people who should be software engineers. Those are the people who, you know, I bet you could take,
which, like, all the software engineers out there that absolutely love it and don't want to be anything else, you're, like, freaky.
Yeah, there is
you're
a little
like
bit of,
actually a freak of nature, and, you know, thank you for what you do, but that sucks.
Well, that kind of brings us into the, like, I don't know how much you're following the stuff that's going on with Musk and Twitter, but I'm on.
Kind of.
Yeah, so I don't have, like, I'm not paying that much attention to it, so I don't know the whole thing. But every once in a while I just get on Twitter just because it's so funny to read the back and forth between, like,
so mad
random haters and
so
Elon Musk. And then a lot of the ex-employees are speaking out. And the Twitter work environment was, like, unrealistic. They had, like, spas, and they had, like, wine on tap, and they had this, like, cafeteria where they got this exquisite food. They had, like, nap areas and cry area.
Dude,
like,
I didn't freaking process the first two things you said because I thought you were just gonna say, like, it was a sweatshop.
No. It was, like, the most luscious working environment ever, and there was this culture of
with wine.
Yeah, there's this culture of not working hard. Like, that was their culture, was not working hard and enjoying it, which there's something to be said about that. Like, enjoying what you're doing and not overworking yourself. I think a lot of people are overworked. So that's one. That's, like, there's benefit to it.
Yeah.
But it was taken so far that when that's the thing, when Elon got there, he's like, okay, who's working?
You're not doing anything.
And everyone was like, no one's working.
You're fired.
He fired, like, half the people. And then they're getting mad. And then I'm also on the like, programming subreddit.
Yeah.
And those people hate Elon. They're like, this is what happens when a businessman gets in place of, like, a businessman gets somewhere and he thinks he knows about
we stop getting free wine.
Yeah. But they're all super mad. So, and I mean, should technically be the most credible group because they are like software engineers, but they're also Redditors, which they always complain. It does not matter if you're on Reddit. Most of the time, you're just complaining.
Oh yeah.
Because I love Reddit for a lot of reasons, but sometimes it's just so
It's a lot of complaining, but in every subreddit too. Like I browse every now and again.
Yeah.
And it's just complainers complaining.
If you find a niche enough subreddit, you can get good people, good stuff out of it.
You get
like
good information.
Like I'm on RC cars.
Why?
Because I like RC cars. I don't know. When I got Reddit, I was on all the ones that it had like added you to.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a year or two ago, I deleted all of the ones that automatically adds you to, because those are not the real like cool part about Reddit. They make it more like a big social platform. Like r/funny sucks.
It really
and
does
the
suck.
group
and they automatically
have you on there.
To
and then sometimes you want funny stuff, but you don't like. It just makes you angry. It doesn't matter. It's all just the worst people on the internet are on there. And then so I delete all those, and then I just add in what I'm interested in.
What you want.
Like anything I'm interested in. Like I would put if I was super, super into microphones, I would just go in and add r/microphones. I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah, and they'd probably
I'm
be
sure
complaining. They'd be complaining about the pro line.
They'd probably be complaining about that one, but I'm sure that the more niche you get, sometimes the more like nice they are. Like RC cars, the guys on RC cars are so nice, and they're always like posting a picture of their little kid that is like 3 years old driving an RC car, and they're like, I'm so excited, thank you guys for your help and your advice for which RC car I should get for my son for his first. And it's like a Traxxas Stampede, and the kid is tearing it up in the lawn. The kid is having the best time of his life so far.
The Traxxas Stampede.
Yeah, I used to want one of those. I used to be super into everything RC. That was like my first big hobby.
Which I did the helicopters for a while.
Yeah.
Before they could like auto flip upside down.
Yeah.
And I would try to get them to flip upside down.
I had the ones that you could fly upside down, but you had to do everything yourself. So you had to, it was like, they had the ones that were, I feel like this is kind of boring, but there's a fixed pitch blades on some of them where they have one blade that spins one way and one that spins the other.
Yeah.
And those have a fixed pitch. And then the ones I had would you'd spool up the blades and they'd be level. And then your throttle wasn't adjusting how fast the motor spinned. It would just change the pitch of the blade.
That's how like real helicopters
it
work,
is.
right?
It's called collective pitch.
Yeah.
So you'd spin that, you'd twist it. And while it's doing, if it's coming around a circle and that blade changes pitch, all of a sudden you have thrust up. But on the little tiny ones, you can flip that helicopter over and go negative collective pitch, and then it pushes up instead of down.
Okay, yeah.
So that, dude, I spent so many hours flying those stupid and crashing.
Dude, I spent so much of my parents' money repairing the walls in our house.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Because of how bad of a helicopter pilot I was.
We have one that you would not.
More of a kamikaze pilot.
We have one that's not even a huge one, and if you were to start it up in here, it would ruin it. It would blow everything. It would blow the shit off the walls and stuff. It's not.
It's just like a real helicopter.
Yeah, it's not even technically a big one. They get crazy, and the people who are actually good, I want to say I'm not good.
Yeah,
I'm not good at it. I
loved
it, but
it's
it's really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
And the guys who were good at it can take these giant machines, and they're doing the most insane flips and crap through the air. It's unreal. But then I was into the planes. I like better because it's easier to be proficient at flying a plane.
Yeah.
Because everything's slower and everything's a little bit less complicated, and it's easier when you're flying it towards you to understand how it is opposite.
I've seen so many so many of those meme videos where they like the old guys are like
Yeah.
real serious in the planes, and then they take it off,
And it
then
crashes
it goes
immediately.
like it crashes so immediately,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
just explodes.
Oh, I've done that before.
Old
We
guys
used
are
to have-
heated.
We used to have the little foam planes.
Yeah, I had one of
And-
those that you just threw.
Yeah. Well, mine had like a tiny brushless motor in it and tiny little servos, but it was still like it barely weighed anything. Like if you blew on it, you could just like move it.
Yeah.
And it was but it had like auto wind correction basically. So it had auto like basically if the plane rolled a little bit and you didn't put in that input,
Mm-hmm.
it would counteract it automatically. So you could fly them in the wind outside basically.
Okay.
But yeah, I crashed those a lot. They were made mostly of super glue by the time I was done with them. But you could put the foam, you could put it in hot water and it would go back to the normal shape, and then you could just super glue everything together.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
got
can put
good at
You can
it.
put foam in hot water and it'll go back to the shape.
Yeah, there's styrofoam. They're like really dense styrofoam, and you can just put it in, like you boil some water and then pour it into like a bowl or something, or just keep it in. I guess you could keep it in the pot that you were boiling
Yeah.
it in. That was just an extra step I added for no reason, but you put it in the hot water and it just slowly moves back to its original form.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, it was. I had to change the subject on RC,
Mm-hmm.
but I woke up this morning, my like news feed,
Yeah.
and there was this one story of these three guys. They were paranormal investigators.
Okay.
In North Carolina, it was like a local thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And they went in the woods and like real late at night, and they were like investigating. And one of the guys got lost in the midst of the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up like this part of the story doesn't make sense to me. Is
Okay.
he called the cops instead? I don't know if his friends did not have phones on them,
Yeah.
but he called the cops instead of his friends. And so the cops came, and he was trying to tell them, he's like, "Hey, I'm doing a paranormal investigation. I'm just trying to find my friends again."
Okay.
And they started to get like weirded out because it's the middle of the night and it's in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. If I was a cop and I showed up to that stuff,
Yeah.
like I'd be wigging out. I'd be like, "What? I'm about to get
like,
killed in
like
some
a
weird
paranormal
conspiracy."
investigation.
It doesn't even sound real.
It wasn't. They had this meth lab in the middle of the woods that they were cooking meth in. And
The people who were investigating paranormal
yeah,
activity?
it wasn't actually paranormal activity. That's what they told. They just told the police that they were investigating paranormal activity, and they ended up just.
Gosh. And they got busted.
That was the part of the story where I was like, why would the guy call the cops if he knows he's making meth in the woods, but also catching ghosts?
He's probably using meth.
Yeah, you probably.
And he was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I got a good idea. I can call the cops because the cops will give me this value because I need to find." Was he lost? Was he actually lost?
He was lost. That's what it said.
So he probably smoked a bunch of meth. He got lost in the woods, and then he was like, "I need to find my way back to my meth facility, and I need to use the cops for it because they're good at helping you if you have a problem. And then I can just have the cover of." I was just looking for ghosts and ghouls.
They arrested them.
Certain ghoulish beings in the woods. I was looking for various ghouls and
various goblins.
yeah. So I think that he actually had a good idea, but probably he was too confident about it on account of the meth he was probably smoking.
Yeah, which I just thought that was really funny, being like around us.
Yeah.
Dude got super paranoid.
Well, okay. To talk about like the people who are investigating for paranormal activity, because I think most of it is like just to make shows and stuff out of, like just to make.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is just because people want to make money off of a show.
It's the
and they
ghost
can do
adventures.
it. But some people, there's enough people that some people are spending their time like really trying to.
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
They're dedicating.
Which I'm interested in it.
Yeah, and I think that if we didn't have anybody looking for ghosts, like at all, there was no one looking for ghosts, then we probably wouldn't find them. if they're there.
If there's nobody looking for him.
Yeah.
Well, they said the early seasons of Ghost Adventures were real, but the later seasons are not.
Really?
Yeah.
Who said?
People.
Yeah, on Reddit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. And they were complaining. They're like, the later seasons suck. Because
No, that was just funny to me because, like, they said that's happened before
yeah.
where people are out in the woods and they're like, we're investigating paranormal activity, and they're actually just making meth.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much a good cover because if you say you're investigating paranormal activity, you do two things, right? First of all, it's like a cover for any type of behavior because, what do you expect from somebody who's like investigating paranormal activity?
Yeah,
they're going
like
to be
three
acting
guys
weird.
carrying tinfoil.
Yeah, that's
you're
like
you're
like, yeah, that makes sense.
that dude is he's got ghosts.
Yeah, this adds up.
Adds up.
But it doesn't. But like it doesn't any other way. Like if you're like I was hiking and I got lost, and they're like, why do you have like industrial cleaner? And they're
For
like,
the ghosts.
Yeah, then it makes sense. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I have to sanitize all of our equipment because
Yeah.
otherwise it'll get.
The ghost.
You can
goo.
have
the
anything.
Goo all over.
You can have anything, and say, oh, I'm investigating paranormal activity. It's the perfect cover.
Yeah, tinfoil, like propane torches.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Cleaner,
Weird devices,
beakers. Yeah,
beakers,
you're like,
yeah.
I'm gonna trap the ghost in the beaker.
Yeah. 21st century dang Ghostbuster.
That's just so goddamn funny to me.
I think the Ghostbusters were already 21st century though,
Were they? Wasn't that the 20th century? Aren't we in the 21st century?
yeah. Was it before 2000?
Yeah. Dude, he's like in the 80s.
Ghostbusters was from the 80s?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking it up.
Look it up. Why you look it up? I'm gonna hit the potty real fast. I gotta pee so bad.
Okay. All right, back in.
Back in. We're
Back
locked in.
Urinated, emptied out.
The tummy is empty.
Yes. Okay, so Ghostbusters.
Wait,
Okay,
what?
what's your exact guess?
Exact guess? Well, when I was out peeing, I was like, maybe it's from the 70s. Because now that I think about it, the like CGI, it wasn't even CGI, it was just VFX.
Yeah. It was practical
Yeah.
effects. Yeah.
Practical
That's what they
effects.
call it. Practical.
I think I'm going to go with like I'm going to go with like 79, 78.
Okay, and
78 locked in.
so my guess, since I didn't get to like naturally guess because I
Yeah.
already looked it up, but I thought it was like I probably would have guessed like 2002 because I haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it in so long.
Let's see. Did you see it yet or no?
Yeah,
Oh, what is it?
1984.
Dude, I was pretty close.
Yeah, you were right at
That's pretty
first, and then you
close.
thought about it, and then you got wronger. The longer you thought about it, the worse your answer got.
Really?
Because you started in the 80s, and then you zoomed away to
That's
the
true,
70s.
but I went to the high 70s.
True, almost as high.
I
in the
could have been
70s.
further away in the 80s than I was in the
True, you could have been
70s.
thinking. That is true, because 84 is closer to 70 than it is to 90. Bill Murray, Harold Ramis. He was Egon Sphincter. That says Spangler.
Yeah, dude, Bill Murray's a class act.
Dan Aykroyd.
Class act.
There's some names.
He's got some liquor out too.
Rick
It's like
Moranis.
he
Who,
calls it
Dan?
yeah, he calls it like the Crystal Skull or something. I think it's a vodka. We got to get that on the show.
Yeah,
We got to freaking blast that.
yeah. Liquor Company.
Yeah.
Crystal Head.
Crystal Head.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
it's just like the skull. That's him?
That's Dan Aykroyd stuff, yeah.
By actor Dan Aykroyd and artist John Alexander. Founded in September 2008. The vodkas are quadruple distilled, filtered 7 times, and packaged in a crystal skull bottle.
I like how you read that.
Yeah, that's from Wikipedia right
That
there.
was really good.
Um,
Yeah, it's pretty expensive though. I think it's like $50 or $60.
yeah, I've seen that at the liquor store before on certain
I mean, pretty
escapades.
expensive for us.
Yeah, extremely expensive for us, but for like the average ghost hunter or paranormal activity investigator,
Methed ghost hunter.
yeah, they make a lot of money on their
That's-
their side gig, which is manufacturing methamphetamine.
Which that's a good business, as we've learned from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and I think that if I were a science teacher and I had cancer, like, can you imagine?
I'd probably do the motorcycle thing.
Okay, but think about this, right?
I'm not smart enough to do the meth thing.
No, but think about this, right? You are a science teacher. Like, this is a small amount of the population, probably really small,
yeah.
but it's got to exist just because
yeah,
of how many
probably
people there are.
5 or 6.
You are a science teacher,
Uh-huh.
and you find out you have cancer.
Okay.
It's literally the exact same setup as Breaking Bad. Like, you just are Walter.
Yeah.
Do you think that you feel worse?
Do you have the son? Do you have the son with the...
With what does he have?
He's got the voice.
He's got multiple... No, he doesn't. He has polio?
Scoliosis?
Oh, we sound so... like, we have no idea what's going on with him.
Multiple scoliosis.
He has a lot of scroilius. Okay.
Dude, he's squirrely.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to look this up. We got to correct this. He's actually, though, like...
What makes you speak funny and makes you also on crutches?
Yeah, it affects all of their motor skills.
Oh, okay.
He cerebral palsy. I knew that.
No.
Yeah, he's palsied out.
I have a friend with CP and he's totally fine.
Yeah, he's probably in the early stages.
Yeah.
They get the late stages are not good. But I've seen like
he looks good there.
There's a comedian
He looks really good
with
there.
CP. He's CP'd up and he's funny.
Is he really does he have it bad or no? No, is that the guy in the wheelchair?
I don't know what he
Where
has.
you can't exactly understand him. I think I saw him on Kill Tony.
I've seen that one.
Was that him?
guy. I don't know what he has. I don't remember his name, so I can't properly look it up. But
yeah.
But I've also seen the guys with Tourette's. Have you ever seen the comedians with Tourette's?
Tourette's. That's. Oh, I'm about to throw up.
It's really funny.
Tourette's
They're
people
funny.
make me want to throw up.
Yeah, seems like it.
It makes me want to throw up.
No, because if you have something like quote unquote wrong with you, and you can make fun of it, and you're not like forcing everyone around you to act like there's nothing wrong with you, it changes the whole nature of it. Like, there's people with... Did you ever... Do you remember that YouTube series where it was that policeman with Down syndrome?
I want to say I haven't seen that.
Okay, it was like...
But I've been down the DS hole.
Yeah.
When I had TikTok,
yeah,
it was literally just monkeys in DS guys.
Yeah.
Down syndrome DS.
Yeah. So, he had Down syndrome, and he was playing into it, and he would pull people over, and it was just the most insane.
Yeah. No, I saw that guy.
Yeah. He was like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "No." And he's like, "I drew you this picture," or it was something so dumb, but it was just like that guy is a class act, right?
I drew you a picture.
Yeah, like you can.
They're like, I'm late for work.
Well, it's like you're dealt.
I drew you this picture.
If you've got Down syndrome, multiple scrolls, you got
you're scrolled out.
You got cerebral palsy, something like that. You're dealt such an awful card, but you can just still be like super entertaining. And those people put regular boring people to shame. Because
they really
if you are regular,
Yeah.
You are normal as in all ways that you could be normal. Like you are just the most normal person ever and you are boring. That's your fault, dude.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
And the DS community,
Mhm.
you know, I love their switch where it's either they're all love or all
Yeah.
hate.
Yeah.
They
Cuz
could
yeah.
hate what's going on around them, or they absolutely love it, which is most of the time. But I do see those DS kids in the stores where they don't get the cereal they want, and they
Yeah.
just hate everything.
When I was working
They
at
hate
Jersey
their mom.
Mike's. Yeah. When I was working at Jersey Mike's, I had a regular and he had a like an aide that took him around on the town.
Yeah.
And she would take him to Jersey Mike's probably at least once a week. And he couldn't even really like talk. Like he was very low functioning.
Mm-hmm.
He could talk a little bit and it was hard to understand him and most of the time she ordered for him. But he was so happy to be there at Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
It would brighten my day
Yeah.
when he would come in because he was so
It was
like
it was the love.
he was so happy to be about to get a sandwich.
Yeah.
And then I would see all these people who, like I said, were normal, right?
Yeah.
And they would be in a horrible mood. They would not be happy about their sandwich. They would always tell me their sandwich was made wrong. And sometimes,
Dude, I wish I had Down syndrome.
well, so what I'm going to say about that,
No, I wish I had Down syndrome
what I'm going to
because
say,
they live in the moment, always in the moment, second to second, minute by minute. That's something we can't do.
can't, see, I think what you're saying now is that you couldn't do that. I think,
Can't they can. Can't they can. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna keep saying it.
Can you get Down syndrome after the fact?
I hope so, cause I would do it.
I don't think you can get it. It can no, because it's trisomy 21, right?
What?
Trisomy 21. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Trisonomy, something to me. 21. It's a genetic disorder with the 21st chromosome.
So you could just give me one.
Oh yeah, trisomy 21. The medical term.
Oh my gosh!
for,
Look at him smiling. That is so.
Yeah, he's very.
It's so loving. That is not a dude.
No, he's adorable, but it's okay. A medical term for having an extra copy of a chromosome is a trisomy. Down syndrome is also referred to as trisomy 21. This extra copy changes how the baby's body and brain develop, which can cause both mental and physical challenges for the baby. And that's from 6 days ago from the CDC. And
6 days
it
ago.
says 6 days ago. So I think they just are constantly tweaking.
They just found it out.
In my head, they're constantly tweaking the definition.
Yeah, they
probably
I could see
said
that.
challenges for the person, and then they changed it to baby because they were like, well, yeah, it's like challenging for the baby, and probably if you look it up in a couple more days, the definition will be different. And that's kind of what society's been doing lately with all the definition changing.
Yeah, they've really been changing it up.
Yeah, I think
There's
that
a lot of things.
I think that people like to change up definitions because it's a power trip.
It's a power trip, but it also it keeps things, it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it does vet out the people who aren't, how am I going to say this?
Like all of a sudden you say feet and you're actually talking about some dudes like hands.
Okay, well, so my point here, right, is that you can either fully commit to being a good member of like a group or a society or whatever, or you can be kind of like on the outside of society. And the people who are super into it don't like the people who aren't. So if you can,
where would you place us?
I think we're kind of in the middle because we don't
We're in
like
the middle,
to like
yeah.
if people start doing something and they think it's cool, like we get upset if we don't know about it. Or at least I do a little bit.
You get upset if you don't know about it.
Yeah, like when my little sister has something that like she thinks is like she knows about it, and then I realize like everyone her age knows about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I feel like I'm
That's true.
a little bit out of touch with.
But that's just the progression. That's just how life goes.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then we also are in touch with different type of stuff now.
Yeah. Like when we were in high school, it was like everyone was whipping nay-naying.
Yeah, which was awesome.
And it was awesome.
It was really
But
cool.
now we don't know what is going on in there.
Yeah.
I don't, at least. No idea.
Yeah, what's going on in this school. Because I think it'd be weird to go check.
No, it'd be super weird. I run around to school every now and again.
Yeah, that's don't say that.
No, I'm not gonna. No.
Yeah, don't say that to people. If you meet somebody and that's the first thing you said, they would hate you.
Okay, for exercise, I run around a school a few days a week. Not around, like on the outskirts of a school.
Like within the range that sex offenders can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. On the outside sidewalk. And the one day I took to run around the school, or run not around it, but like I cut through the school.
Yeah.
Some class was outside, and they saw me and my buddy running.
Yeah.
And they were just like, something lit up in their mind. They're like, we have to tear these guys apart. We were just jogging. It was just a light jog. And then they're like, Ryder, go get him, bro. And he did some like weird freaking dance. Like,
Dang,
it's
like
always a
some
dance. It's
ninja-
always a dance.
It was like ninja type, or it was actually just a dance. Like he was going to dance battle you to death.
He ran by full sprint.
So this is a child?
It was for sure a child. Probably a sophomore in high school.
Okay, so
And then-
16, 17 years old.
Yeah. And then he stopped running by us and did some sort of choreographed dance with his friends.
So, yeah, see, that's pretty cool, actually, what they did to you. And they played you for chumps.
They played us for chumps.
I think that the dancing thing...
Little do they know I'm always lurking around their school.
Yeah, so you could do some damage.
Yeah.
But the dancing thing is different than it... Like, it used to be cool to dance on Vine and stuff. And it used to be cool if you could dance, but it wasn't everybody. And now with TikTok... Because Musical.ly was a thing. And people would post their Musical.ly stuff to Twitter and Vine and Instagram. Because, like, I remember Instagram used to be just pictures, and then they added video.
Yeah. I was so
And now
excited
it's
when
like-
they did the multiple photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I remember when that happened. And that was probably like 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, the multiple photo. And then the other
That
thing
changed
is...
the game, though.
Do you remember when they got rid of... You used to only be able to put square photos.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole app was you could put square photos, and your friends could see your square photo. And now it's almost all... The cat is back. But
the
now...
wild-
Now it's almost all videos. Like when I go on Instagram, I get
It's a lot
I get
of videos.
stuck. I get
stuck in the
sucked
reels.
into the reels.
We were talking about Instagram, right? Yeah, that's the reels,
Yeah, that's
right?
reels.
Yeah.
It's YouTube Shorts. It's Instagram
That's
Reels.
what I get stuck in is the shorts.
So mine are different, right? So YouTube, I feel like it tailors my shorts based on my subscriptions. And then Instagram tailors it based on what I like. The Instagram algorithm is way too good.
And YouTube is not.
YouTube's not as good. I get sucked in way harder to Reels than anything else. And
Yeah.
TikTok, if I go on TikTok, it's like entertaining for a little bit, but then I get bored because I feel like the algorithm isn't based on what I'm interested in. It's based on what Gen Z is generally interested in.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, it loses me a little bit. But Instagram, if it starts to lose me, it like shows me something I love or like something so cool. It shows me some guy doing stunts on a CBR, and I just I'm like, wow.
That's weird because I thought the TikTok algorithm was supposed to be the best.
In my experience, it's not. But on Instagram, like I spend more time on Instagram overall by a lot.
Yeah. I had to delete Instagram because it was so time consuming.
I deleted Instagram for a while, and then I like any good addict.
Any good
I
addict, you
reinstalled
relapse.
it. Yeah,
You relapse.
it is an addiction.
You're not a good addict unless you relapse.
It's an addiction, and the thing is, it's not like it's really not good for you to be addicted to the social media, but it's so relevant to like if everyone's addicted and then you're on the outside, it's like weird. Like when I ask for somebody's Instagram, if they tell me they don't have an Instagram, I get offended.
Really?
Yeah. Like not like I don't go on it much. That's fine cuz most people are trying to like deal with it.
Yeah.
But if somebody's like no, straight up, there is no Instagram account that I own.
I don't think that does that happen?
Yeah, I've only, but rarely. But that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Why does everybody, parents, have Instagram accounts?
That's true. My mom has one, but she has nothing on it.
Nothing on it, but she made one at some point.
She made one.
Everyone
yeah.
has one.
That's true. That's super weird. Yeah, if you don't have an Instagram account, you're a freak as well.
Yeah. It's such a weird. But it ties in so hard to society. Like I think our trajectory as a society is tied directly to our social media because that's like half of what we think now is governed and molded and shaped by what we see.
True. Do you think there's ever going to be a new social media to top all the others to make the others like obsolete?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be when VR becomes light and wearable.
Yeah.
It could happen before that, but it's 100%. And not just VR, but AR, augmented reality.
Yeah.
Where you can wear a pair of glasses that's not much heavier than like a regular standard pair of glasses, and you can see anything. Because can you imagine, like, if you could wear something that made everything around you look different with, like, some kind of AI, right?
Yeah.
Then you could work in a closet. Like, you could work from home in a space as small as a closet, and you could have it, like, you could work for, let's say you work for Twitter, okay? And you have access to these glasses, and they send them to you when you get on.
Mm-hmm.
And you only need, like, 8x8 space with a desk and a computer.
Mm-hmm.
They send you the computer. Maybe they send you the desk, too. And you put the glasses on, and it feels like you're in the office. You can see everybody else.
Yeah.
They can see you. You're, like, interacting with people. And then at the end of the day, when you leave the office, all you do is take the glasses off. You don't even need a computer. You could just be looking at the wall, and you could be seeing the computer that is running virtually at the headquarters.
I could see that happening.
It's going to happen. There's no way it doesn't, because that's such a if you can centralize the computing power like that, that's 100% going to happen. You have nobody needs to have a computer because you can have a supercomputer somewhere, and the internet, like the data transfer on the internet, will be fast enough that you don't actually need to have your own processor in your computer. You just buy a little bit of processing power, and that way you don't have to commit to a processor that's going to be outdated in a couple years. You just have a plan. You have like medium processing plan, and then it upgrades itself, and then eventually it costs a little bit more, and you can downgrade or upgrade, whatever. Like everything's going to change when the data transfer gets super, super good. That's pretty good.
No, I agree. I agree with the AR stuff.
Yeah, the AR is going to change the world.
The VR, I get a little stuck on because, like, they made that movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And that's what I want VR to be.
Yeah.
And every time there's a new VR, like the Meta system,
yeah.
it's just so bad. It's like just playing on your computer just with two black walls.
Yeah, but have you seen, what is it called, VR chat?
Oh, yeah.
Which that is like a little bit wonky looking, but it's people have fun on there. People do like whole things on there, events
No,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And or like during COVID when they had concerts in Fortnite,
Yeah.
they had concerts. Who was it? Travis Scott?
It was Travis Scott.
And it was crazy.
Oh, yeah. The Roblox. Didn't they have the Roblox concert too?
They may have.
Yeah.
I'm not aware, but okay. So we're back.
We're back.
We got interrupted.
We got. This is the problem with
Yeah.
the at-home
doing
studio.
the studio at home. You get just all the way interrupted. You guys are doing a podcast? You guys are. What are you doing in here?
I know.
Yeah,
Freaking
we have to
geezers,
leave.
man.
What do you mean we have to leave?
Freaking geezers, get him out of here. Oh, they talk about his drugs.
Yeah,
I did this drug. You did that drug.
I did this drug, and you did that drug. Okay, well,
I don't even remember. Like we were talking about VR.
yeah.
But
So
I don't even remember where we were.
I think what we were talking about was how much it's going to kind of change society over the next. So my point is, it's going to change society so much over the next. I'm gonna say 10 to 20 years. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
I would put money on it. That in the next. I'm gonna say at the highest 30 years from now,
Yeah.
which will be alive.
I
We're going to be so immersed
Mhm.
in virtual reality. Like, if you could wear it all the time, then you wouldn't even have to have, like, a nice decorated house. You could just instantly change your decorations in your house. You wouldn't have to put anything on the walls. You just have to put,
Yeah.
like, you'd probably put, like, tracking markers on your wall so
Wouldn't
that your
be
VR headset
so
would work better.
Weird. Like people come over and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
install this. This
And
is
then-
what my house actually
Yeah,
looks like.
yeah. And then there'd be the hippies that like actually decorate their house, and we'd be like, oh my gosh, they're still actually
Yeah, they're
decorating
still
their
actually
house.
decorating.
Like that's such a weird thing.
Like our parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be like, oh my gosh, my parents still decorate
Mom,
their living
stop
room.
decorating your house.
Yeah, you
Why
know,
are you still sleeping in
you
a
can,
bed?
Yeah. Like, why aren't you in a night pod?
Yeah, why are you in the pod? Why are you in the
Yeah.
chamber?
You need to be in a night pod. It's better for your esophagus and your esophageal tract.
Yeah, the thing is I can really see it happening. Like 20 years down the road, I can see everyone being immersed into this
Oh,
VR, AR, like augmented world.
well, we act like it's so far fetched and we act like it's crazy, but if you showed us to people 30 years ago, they would be like, what do you mean they can't stop using their phone to look at videos? What does that even mean? They can't
Yeah.
stop? What does that mean?
Yeah. But I can also see society rejecting it too.
Well, they do. Look at our parents. Look at
Yeah, yeah.
so look at most of like the grandparent age right now being like
They barely
rejecting-
have a smartphone.
Yeah, and
barely.
and a lot of them, some of them are super into it,
Yeah.
but some of them fully reject it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to reject it. By the time that we're old, whatever technology is coming out, we're going to be
Yeah.
like, this isn't right. This isn't normal.
Yeah.
We're going to reject. It's just the natural thing. You adopt the new technology when you're young, and you reject it when you're old.
Yeah.
It's everybody. Every generation has
I
done
guess
it.
so. That's really weird how that works.
It's super weird.
I wonder why that is. Because like my grandpa,
Yeah.
like my dad's dad,
Yeah.
he still is super in tune, or he tries to be in tune with like computers, everything like that.
Yeah.
And he's 90 years old or whatever.
Whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Freaking oh god. Freaking old guy.
Yeah. He's old as crap.
Old guy activity, but
Yeah.
also he wants to learn. He's like a learner. There's a certain people out there
Yeah.
that will accept it.
I think it's like how adaptable are you? And if you're not very adaptable, you spent all this time learning the modern technology. Like you got so well versed in the Telegram, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Telegrams are old now. We wouldn't even use that if we had to."
Are we going to be adaptable because of how complex the stuff we use
I
is
think-
now comparatively to like 40 years ago.
So yes, I think we will be more adaptable because we're used to the change. Because
Yeah.
when we were born, there were no smartphones.
No, it's the flip.
Yeah. No, when we were born,
Pretty sure flip phones were out when
they
I was born.
they were born. Yeah,
Yeah.
They were out. They were born. They were out already, but it was like what does a smartphone look like in '99 when I was, or not a smartphone, like a cell phone looked like in '99. Like it was not even close to what even a flip phone today looks like.
No, not at all.
Like you weren't thinking you would get internet over it.
No. The internet was barely a thing back then.
Yeah.
The early 2000s, at least.
Yeah. So we were born right in that like explosion, right when it was happening, of like my first iPod that I had was an iPod Nano with 1 gigabyte of music storage.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of those the shuffles.
Yeah, I had a friend with a shuffle. And you couldn't even, there was no screen. You couldn't even choose what was coming on, barely. You just started playing.
Yeah, you just shuffled.
All it did was shuffle your
and
7 songs
hit
that
the
fit
button.
on it.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, which one of my 7 songs am I going to hear today?
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Maroon 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I mean, growing up.
I had Black Eyed Peas. I had Queen. I had So like I would have a couple albums that like I know so well because they were on my iPod. And now when I want to go listen to music, some days I spend like 30 minutes deciding what music I'm going to listen to.
Oh yeah.
And part of that is because I'm kind of procrastinating whatever I have to do. But part of that is also because there's so many options.
Yeah, there's almost
It's like an
too many
overload
options.
of options of what you could listen to.
Even I know we're making a podcast right now.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of podcast options.
No, I have the same thing. When I'm trying to find, sometimes I want to listen to a podcast, and I'm like, oh, I like this podcast, but I'm not in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Oh, do I want to find a new podcast? I don't know if I want to commit to a new podcast or
We're so indecisive.
Yeah, we're bred to be indecisive. We're not bred, but we're just like we're forced to be indecisive based on all the entertainment that's available to us.
Can't wait to have my next indecisive kid.
Yeah, breed one yourself.
I will.
Yeah, you're gonna breed some weird freaking kids.
I mean, they're all. Dude, I was at freaking work today.
Yeah.
And we were just doing some like handyman work for this daycare.
Yeah.
You know of the daycare.
Oh yeah.
They brought we specifically asked them a few days ago. We're like, hey, we're gonna be doing stuff in the playground area. Could you have it so the teachers don't bring out the little kids? And they're like, yeah, for sure.
Make sure you keep them wrangled.
Yeah.
Today.
Keep them wrangled inside.
Inside.
Keep them inside.
Don't even let them outdoors.
Yeah.
They don't need to be out here while we're doing the work.
Until we're gone.
Yeah.
And they, of course, one of the teachers obviously is. The teachers are, I mean, they're minimum wage paid workers.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do what they're supposed to do. So they brought out this class of like, I don't even know how old they were. They were probably like 10.
Yeah.
10 to 12.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Isn't that? I asked my dad today. I was like, is that weird for like a 12-year-old to be at daycare?
I think it is, right? Because they go to school.
I was in preschool.
When I was,
which isn't that like a daycare? Is preschool?
Well, what kindergarten starts at 5, right, or 6?
Yeah.
So, and I went to preschool when I was probably like 3 and 4.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what I did.
I didn't. Yeah, daycare was if you're like under 2 years old.
That's what I thought. But these kids are like 10 years old.
I remember there were kids that used to go to after school care, and they would go to a place that was like, it was like their parents couldn't watch them after school, and they didn't want them home alone because they were gonna like do weird stuff.
Yeah, these are not after school kids. They're there all day.
Do you think they're homeschooled?
No.
So what's going on with these 12-year-olds?
Anyhow, they came out while we were working.
Yeah.
And we can't really do anything about it. We can't like yell at the teacher, or the owner of the business will get mad at us.
Yeah.
So we were out there working. It was just funny because like how their brains work. Like, they're so innocent. Yeah, they're so, like, they're vulgar in their own way. And I didn't know, like, they're 10 years old.
Yeah.
And they're playing this game. They don't even have a ball. They have this Lego.
Okay.
And they're almost running, like, football routes. There's a quarterback.
Really?
And he's like, oh, hike. And then
he
hike.
Go ahead and hike.
Yeah. Then he hikes the Lego brick.
Mm-hmm.
The little kid, like, runs a route, and the other kid's trying to block him, and the quarterback, like, runs up to him and, like, throws him the Lego.
Yeah.
He catches the Lego, goes to the fence, says, I won 69 points. And there was a girl sitting there, and she's like, that's not fair. It's 1-on-2. And I was like, that's fair, but you need to go to the other side of the playground because you don't know how this works.
Oh my gosh.
But I was wondering because they all, like, after he scored the 69 points, they all convened, and I was like, dude, 10-year-olds, like, my brain was like, are they, like, joking?
Yeah.
Do they know what
No.
69 is? And then
Well, they know it's funny at least. At least they know that that's funny. They might not know
it's
why.
funny, but they seem way too young to be like 69 is a funny number. That's not a funny number until I was like 14.
No, because have you ever seen a kid laugh when everybody else is laughing and you know the kid doesn't understand the joke?
Oh yeah.
They just know 69 is funny. They don't know why.
It was just really funny because every score where he touched the fence,
Yeah.
it would just be some random number. Because at first it was 69, and then he hit it again.
Yeah.
He scored another TD on the fence.
Okay.
And he's like, 59-39. I was like, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
What happened? I have no idea what happened. And the girl would say some other number. She was sitting right next to them. She would be like, 29-39.
Yeah.
I don't know what the 9. I thought to myself, like, while I was sitting there.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the significance of the 9 number?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just trying to add the joke in. Because I remember when I was that old, or that young, I'll say.
Yeah.
Everything had to be a joke for me. It still does.
Yeah.
Still does. Like, I want to be funny.
It was like they were trying to aggravate each other. And they were, because when the person would score the 39 points or whatever.
Yeah.
The other kid, the defender kid, would be like, no, that's not how many points he gets.
Okay, yeah.
That's
so it was working.
That's 10 points. And then the defender would score, and he would say, I got 49 points. And then the other kid would cry.
Okay, yeah, good. So he made him cry, which I think, like, being able to make somebody cry at that age is, you are probably going to excel in the future.
Yeah.
Because you have the mental facilities to be able to absolutely ruin somebody's time.
And I also, there was a little bit of an issue with some physical contact.
You were touching them?
No.
Okay.
I was watching from far
watching from afar. You
away.
had your
binoculars.
Yeah.
And I was watching from across the field.
Okay. So that's still not good.
And this little, like, I don't even know how old they are, dude. Kids freak me out with the ages. Like, our neighbor's kid is 2 years old, and I'm like, he could be 0.
Well, well, I remember being when I first got to college. My favorite part about college was that almost, with very few exceptions, everyone was old enough. Every girl,
I think that
was old enough.
But that's the standard at college. It's like, you are old enough.
Yeah,
you know?
but then when I got out of college,
enough. What is it?
So, like, okay, so
what do you mean enough?
Okay, so when I say enough, I mean,
you mean 18?
Yeah, like almost everybody is, and when I was a freshman, it was okay if somebody was 17. It was okay, because I was 18.
Yeah.
But, like, there's almost nobody under 17 in college.
Yeah, exactly.
Which like, so you can't get in like legal trouble just for like talking. Like you're not gonna get.
Yeah.
And then
you
as soon
say
as
the N-word, it's like
yeah,
you're not gonna get in that much
you're
trouble.
not gonna get into that much trouble.
Yeah.
And I remember the first break I had from college. I had gotten so used to being able to like every girl was old enough. And then I remember being in like a regular non-college society. And I was scared to like even look. Like when I go to the gym now,
Yeah.
I don't look at like any girl that looks like she's 20 or less.
Oh my gosh, that is such a trap there.
Yeah, because there's going to be like some random 14-year-old girl who looks like she's 20 and you don't know.
So yeah,
I feel so
that's
guilty.
why I got buddy with the employees there.
So they tell you their
so
actual legal
when
age.
I find someone attractive, I
Yeah.
go up to them, I say, "How old is she?"
Yeah, see for me
They always say 12.
yeah. And
Every
then
time.
and then you realize you're a piece of shit.
Every time.
No, cuz like sometimes I'll be like I would be interested in that in just like I don't know how to say it without sounding creepy, but like I see a person, I'm like that's a attractive woman.
Well, it's the water. It's the water.
Go on.
They're putting
something in the water.
Are you kidding me? These girls come out of high school and they look
Yeah.
like supermodels.
Yeah. It's just it bothers me because I don't want to I have this like deep inside of me, I don't want to ever like look at a person who is underage
No.
and be like attracted to them.
Yeah, it's
But they are modeling their whole appearance with their clothes, their makeup and everything as someone who's
Exactly, yeah.
older.
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing.
It's super weird because you look, but you don't know if you should.
Well, it's like being a guy, especially being like, for me, I'm 6'2". I'm threatening in certain situations. Like I don't seem threatening if you talk to me, but if I'm walking down the street,
who's that dog?
you wouldn't be threatened by me. But if
I might
if
be
I'm walking,
if I didn't know you.
and even if I'm just walking at night, right, and there's a girl walking alone at night, and I'm like behind her. And we're just walking to the same place, I'm gonna seem creepy. I'm gonna seem like some
late at night.
it's
4
happened.
in the morning.
It's happened.
Girls walking down.
It has
You're
happened.
like, let me freaking get up behind this chick.
I seem so. What I'll do, I'll like cross the road so that I'm not like directly following them because I hate it. I'm like, I'm so creepy right now.
Why?
And it's not
why
like
is that? Why is that happening? That never happened to me.
that's never happened to
That's
you.
never happened to me.
Okay, so let's say you're walking at the park, right? And you have a good pace going, and the girl in front of you that you're kind of like about to pass.
You have a good pace.
Yeah, you're doing like a kind of a speed walk sort of situation, and there's a girl walking in front of you, and she's doing a slightly slower speed walk
Yeah.
on account of her much shorter stride,
Yeah.
and you are coming up on her hot. Okay, you are
doing
closing,
a 6-minute mile.
You are closing the gap.
She's-
You see her
yeah.
turn the noise canceling off on her headphones because she hears something coming up.
Yeah.
She's like a little worried. She looks back at you one time. She knows you're there,
Yeah.
and you are just.
What
you're-
is that snickering behind me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the noise I make while I'm walking.
Like running through the woods.
Yeah. No, it's a thing I think about. I just like don't want to be creepy to women at night.
No, you don't.
And just
but how
being there is creepy
I was
sometimes.
gonna say the thing is you can't not be creepy walking or running behind a woman at night. And
Well,
that's
it's just like you just being there is enough. These are cold.
there.
Yeah. Do you want one?
Yeah.
All right. So they were warm, and I grabbed a bag of ice and put them on the
Yeah,
ice.
Carolina ice, man, that gets them cold.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, just you being there is creepy. And then on the flip side of that, for a woman, like you just see a guy, right, at night, and you don't want to be creeped out by him, but you are.
Honestly, as a guy, seeing a guy at night, I'm a little freaked out. If I'm by
I'm not like
if I'm by myself,
Yeah.
2 in the morning,
and you see a human
and
male.
you see a human male. You're like, why also is he out here
Yeah, and you're not
at this time of night?
like you don't think that he's gonna like hurt you necessarily, but you're so on edge that you're keeping track of what he's doing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Even in like public places,
Yeah.
it's hard not to keep track of a threatening male.
Yeah.
Threatening male.
No, it's a fascinating thing. Just like, however, like we're all born human, and we're all born into various shapes and sizes. And if you are a very large male, even if you're not like super strong for your size, you're just like born very strong and big.
Yeah.
And then you have a very small female. Like, there is absolutely nothing that small female could do to defend themselves without some sort of weapon from that male if that male had some negative intention.
100%.
Which so he's already just has this
if that
crazy
one
advantage.
DS guy was in hate mode,
Yeah.
there's nothing you could do to stop him.
No, you absolutely couldn't stop
But
it.
also, 2 in the morning, you're walking down the street. Now, let's not even say street. Let's say like a trail.
Yeah.
In the middle of the woods. You hear something behind you.
Okay.
You look behind. It's a DS guy in love mode.
Yeah, so
But you don't know he's in love mode. He just
okay,
is.
so you're
He somehow he busted out of his cage pen. He busts out his pen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't live in pens. I have to say I think they live in homes with like bedrooms. I think they're but to get to your point, like I still wouldn't know and I would still be trying to get out of there. Like I don't care who you are really. Like even if you're a woman alone at night, first of all, I would think it was some sort of dangerous like scam or like a con.
He'd be trying to
Like,
be trying to
she's-
sell you something.
I think like even if you saw a woman alone at night, she would be trying to draw you in where like a bunch of dudes were gonna jump
Yeah,
you.
he'd be come buy my sheets.
Yeah, come buy my sheets. They would try and force you to buy the 400 count Egyptian cotton sheets for
Yeah.
your bed.
Come buy my sheets.
Yeah.
I made these sheets. Come buy them.
I made them, and then when they got you there and you said no, which because like it's a big investment
It's
to change
just
your
like
sheets, especially if you like the sheets you already.
hate mode, and he pulls out his machete.
Yeah.
I love him though. I just want it to be known.
It's all love.
I love Down syndrome people.
Oh, it's all love. It has to be.
It
Yeah.
always is.
I think eventually we can try and hit everything that's considered disorder in America. Eventually we can have every single party represented on the podcast.
I concur.
Yeah.
100%.
So like we'll have like, and we need to, especially for like, yeah, you get a Down syndrome gentleman or lady on the podcast.
Yeah. A lady would be better to mix up the diversity.
to
here.
add a little bit of diversity. We could
Although we
get-
got this lady. Right
Doesn't-
here. You
I
wanna
think-
say something?
I would say that. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
probably the cat doesn't count, but if we get like like now since we talked about it, we're going to have to get somebody with cerebral palsy on the podcast because.
I know a guy with cerebral palsy.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
So okay, we're gonna have to get
I can get him on
Yeah,
here. I can get
because
him on here.
because if we're going to be talking about them without representation from
we
them,
gotta put
give them a voice on the
was
podcast.
it my money where my mouth is.
Put your money in your mouth.
In your mouth. You want that green.
You want that money in your mouth. You want to taste every hand that money has ever come into contact with.
And if that's a cerebral palsy's hand.
We need to get the representation on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think cerebral palsy and Down syndrome are two groups that we've spoken on so far. We've also talked on children, but I think it'd be a little difficult. But we could get somebody who used to be a child on here.
Yeah, I have the younger sister, so I could probably get her on here.
Younger sister, but we could probably get somebody who just
Recently was
recently a child, but they can
I
actually
could nab one of those suckers from the daycare.
probably not good because then you wouldn't be allowed to run there anymore.
No,
Yeah.
this is that's I run at the high school,
Oh,
but I do other stuff at the daycare.
yeah, like stand and stare at the children.
Well, Oh yeah, I forgot to finish that story.
Which story?
When they were playing the games,
Okay, yeah.
and there was this little black kid, and then he was the defender,
Yeah.
and then the white kid was it doesn't really matter,
Okay.
but it was also the argument is a little racially charged. The black kid
Yeah.
came up while the white kid was on the ground,
Okay.
freaking like flying kneed him
Okay.
in the face.
Yeah.
And then the white kid was like, "That's not how we do it here. That's like," he was really, really, really close
Yeah, to saying
Like,
some awful
to
stuff.
saying some really awful stuff, and you could tell like in his eyes he was like envisioning his dad saying it or his grandpa.
Yeah, he was just channeling some racism that was
He had it in him, and I saw it.
that's creepy.
I saw it with my own eyes. It was a little creepy because I don't think the little black kid meant to do anything.
Yeah, he was just like getting carried away.
It
He's
was
a
like
child. He's a child.
He watches football.
Yeah.
And so it was tackle football, which
Yeah.
what they were playing. It was like offense versus defense.
Yeah.
And he just happened to get kneed in the little white kid happened to get kneed in the head, and he complained a lot, and then I saw in his eyes the N-word. It just
You
spelled
could
out.
see it in there.
It was almost branded on him.
It was rattling around in his little
Yeah.
his little head.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of awful.
It is.
It's like there's an element about it when you get that close to it, when you can taste that word rattling around in somebody's head, and it's a child, and
Yeah.
and then they're going to blast it out onto their little.
I think that's the only reason he didn't belt it out was because children just at their core are so innocent.
Yeah.
And I saw it today. They're just like every one of them means no harm. They're
Okay.
obviously competitive,
Yeah.
but they don't mean to like they have no evil intent
Yeah.
in their heart. You can tell. And I think
I would
that's
agree.
that's the only as soon as that like evil drips in from like I don't know. When does the evil drip in like age 14?
Maybe even before that. Maybe 12.
12. As soon as you turn 12,
Yeah.
that evil drips in, that N-word would have flown.
It would have come out. It would have come out and it would have hit
come
that
out.
little kid.
But you could tell there was just a dam on the word.
And you know how bad that would have been for that little black boy.
It would have been bad.
That would have been his first, or maybe not first, but that would have been a very real experience for him for the rest of his life. When the white kid at his daycare just absolutely belted the N-word
Yeah.
at him.
And it would have been actually worse for the white kid because he was the minority in the situation.
Was it mostly little black kids?
Mostly little black kids, and the teacher was black.
Yeah, so
And
probably that would have been that would have been good if the white kid had said it, because since he's how old was he?
I'm not good at kid ages, but I want to say like 9.
So yeah, if you're 9 and you say the N-word, you really can't be canceled yet.
Not yet.
But you're not canceled, but you get to learn like that like is really kind of like a big deal. So you get to
yeah.
he would learn firsthand that like what his dad and grandpa say at home
Yeah.
is like not okay for him to say.
Yeah,
So maybe it would have been better if he had actually let it go in the
Yeah.
situation where there's a black teacher that can tell him like that actually really hurt my feelings and all of your peers' feelings.
Yeah, like around here there's never any black kids on the farm.
Yeah.
It's always just like you remember grandpa from a young age screaming the N-word
Yeah.
at like a turnip or some farm food.
Black, like not black people. old people and old white people specifically
Yeah.
will blast some racial profanities
They
out.
will spray paint it on their tractor.
But they also never got canceled. It wasn't
they
that
can't. Yeah, they're too old to get canceled.
like even people who are just like saying it all the time in modern society, like they know not to say it in front of a camera. And like a old white guy might not, and they might not know like who they can say it in. Like it used to be when they were young, they could say that, and they were like everyone in the room agreed.
Yeah.
And now that it's not, they're getting all like crotchety. They can't say their favorite word anymore.
Yeah, my grandma said the blacks today. That's a step.
Yeah,
that's a step in the right direction.
And I'm sure that she didn't mean it in a way that was like.
That's the thing, is that I feel like a lot of old people don't mean it.
Yeah.
In a derogatory way.
Yeah, and they don't know how to speak because they were raised speaking.
Yeah.
In a way that was defamatory, just naturally.
Yeah.
And now they can't. They don't think about it. Like when the words come to their mind, they're racist.
Yeah, they do. They sound really racist.
Like my grandpa, when he starts talking, sometimes I'm like, holy shit.
You're like, whoa.
Like it's not like okay, some of the things he's saying. Like I wouldn't. And then sometimes like I'll be like, Grandpa, what are you talking about? I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've been like, what are you saying? Like I have
you've corrected him.
I know people who are like it's not always about race. It's about like religion, different stuff, whatever. I'm not gonna get my grandpa canceled, even though he wouldn't be anyway. But I'm not gonna.
My grandma's not gonna get canceled.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring up like exactly what he said necessarily, but like I've come back at him before and been like, what do you mean? Like I know people who either practice this type of thing or are this skin color or whatever, and there's no real like nothing really going on differently. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, but there's always but.
Yeah.
And then he says but, and then he says some horrible shit.
See, our parents are the generation that kind of have started to get rid of
the
it.
Transitionary.
I feel
they're
like
fully the transitionary.
Our kids are gonna be the completely scot-free kids.
Yeah, and then there'd be some new issues. And I think it's gender. Gender is budding. The gender issues are budding right now, and
they really
by the time that our kids, especially by the time that like our kids are having kids, I think racism is gonna be like not a huge deal.
It's for sure gonna be on the back burner.
It's gonna be there still, but it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be as hot of a topic, and instead it's gonna be.
And it's only
gender.
like I feel like it's hot because of a lot of people have said it's only still here because we still talk about it.
Yeah, and I think that that's true. And I like to think about like the thing about that is there's like a balance between respecting and like loving your ancestral roots, right? So if your ancestral roots and the way you got to America was actually through slave trade, like that's going to weigh on your mind.
Yeah.
Because even like my ancestry, like I don't think about that much, but like it does, like it is part of my identity.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not that much, but like we came to America, my family came to America like after it was already a country and stuff.
I don't even know my ancestry fully.
Yeah.
I know my grandpa on my dad's side came here from Hungary.
Yeah.
But that's the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah. I think we're from Germany and the Ukraine. Which so we got Nazis and we got the current stuff that's going on.
Got some. Do you have any family over there?
No, or not that I know of. I'm sure I do, but
yeah.
I don't
that
know
would be
much.
Crazy.
I don't know much beyond my like grandparents.
Okay.
Like that's like the most distant family that I know well.
Did your grandparents, are they the one who came over from Ukraine?
No. so on my mom's side, that's the German side, and they came over. It was my grandparents. I think my maternal grandfather, his parents came from Germany, and then my maternal grandmother, her grandparents came from Germany.
Okay.
I think, but I could be completely wrong. It's just like what I
Yeah.
pieced together, and then it's like I don't even know on my dad's side. Like, when did everyone come to America?
It's all a mystery for me.
Yeah, but
I don't really honestly, I don't really care that much.
yeah, but there's also nothing to care about.
Yeah.
Like, what if there was a thing to care about? Like, what if your great grandparents were like spit on if they walked into a white only bar or restaurant?
I'm not sure.
I don't either.
I've
don't
never
know
been
either.
in that position.
Like, even if it's just like, that's close. That's like crazy close. So I get the like. It's hard to communicate about it, and it's always a hot topic and like
Yeah.
a one of those issues that makes people upset is white people communicating with black people about what racism is like.
The thing is, you probably know, but my dad's basically best friend. I grew up, within the community,
Yeah.
are all, Deep South black people.
Yeah.
And I don't think once have we discussed anything, to that nature.
Yeah.
Anything about racism or anything. I don't think we've discussed it in, 15 years. And it's just been, it's blossomed to, their family now.
Yeah. And that's interesting because I think there's a lot of places like that, and I think there's a lot of people like that. And I can't, there's people who make meth and they're pretending that they're searching for paranormal activity. So there's no way you can
That happens.
there's no way you can if that happens, there's no way
Yeah.
you can refuse that there's people who are straight up just awful to black people only.
Oh yeah. I mean there are.
And
there's
then there's
definitely they're starting to
yeah.
I mean I don't know back in the day, but now I barely see, if any, racism. I obviously you'd see some on social media,
Yeah.
but IRL I can't even remember a
The
time
thing-
where that's happened.
The thing is, though, and this is the argument I hear, and I kind of can't help but agree with it a little bit, is if you imagine you're black and you walk into a store, right?
Mhm.
And you get those eyes on you. Those eyes like this kid is about to steal something.
Yeah, from my grandma,
Yeah.
from your grandpa.
Yeah. From the person who runs the store who's old, they're watching that black person like a hawk. And to that black person who is not going to steal anything.
Yeah.
Let's say that this person is just a regular upstanding member of society, and they're not trying to steal anything. And then all of a sudden they just have eyes on them. And they're like, what is this? And I've had eyes on me in stores before. I've
Yeah.
been watched like a hawk before. But there's never that thought in the back of my mind, oh, it's because I'm white.
Yeah.
But if you're black and you have eyes on you, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But you can't know. But it's that's the kind of thing that would be bothersome, I think. If I was black, is that thought of oh, this is because I'm black, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just it's one of those things where it's almost impossible to prove that it is or isn't happening. Because it's more about the observation and you have to be in that. You have to be in those shoes, I think, to say it is or isn't happening. And then even then there's a whole question about it, but I don't know. That's why I like to. We had in school, in high school, we had this class where it was kind of diverse, really, and like my high school was mostly black people, and then I think like white people and Hispanic people were kind of tied.
Yeah.
And so we had this class where this one teacher that we had in high school was so good at keeping a conversation that was a like heavy conversation from getting out of hand. He was so good at it. And he would set up this environment where we could actually talk. And it was really enlightening and kind of cool to talk to people who were like completely different cultures from me. And like I'll hold that dear for the rest of my life, that opportunity to do that. And I think once I got into college, I thought it would be like that too. And then all it was people telling you not to talk about hot button issues. Like people aren't willing to talk about racism in a open setting where they're just like actually asking questions, actually like how do you feel? How do I feel? How does everything feel? Like people aren't willing to just talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's not just racism, it's everything. People like we talked about racism in my high school class and no one got up too upset. Like, and people with very different viewpoints were talking about it. I couldn't believe it. And I've never been in a situation like that since then. It was 60 of us in that class. Wow. And we were all able to talk. We could all talk openly. I don't even think we had to, like, raise our hand or anything. We just start talking if we had something to say. And, I mean, a lot of times when it got to something like that, I just listened because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. Yeah. But it was so cool to hear people talking about their life, and they're a different skin color and gender than me, and they had a completely different experience than me just in life.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have more the high school you went to is definitely more diverse than mine.
Yeah. Very much more.
Expel from my wiener.
Okay. I think it's about time to wrap this up anyway.
Okay. Then we do want to wrap it up, Rohan?
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we're at, I don't know, because we're going to have to cut out all the time that people interrupted us.
Yeah.
And
what are we at?
We're at almost 2 hours worth of actual recording.
So it's like probably an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think this was pretty good.
Pretty good so far.
Yeah.
For episode 1.
Episode 1. We hit VR. We hit paranormal activity, meth manufacturer, and racism. Yeah.
The first one.
Racism, we hit on the
next
first
week,
one.
abortion.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to end this here.
Yeah.
It's been good. And the cat shut up, so.
From the depot so far.
From the depot, episode 1. Here it is. Goodbye.